So at this time, we're going to bring out your moderator. He is the show director of creative development. It is Ramon Paradise.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you being here. It's 2025 and we're doing the Spooky Empire panel again, and we're so excited about HHN 2025 and all the awesome things that we're going to talk about. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our panelists to the stage. Are you ready to see who we're going to be having up here talking? Without further ado, let's bring on stage Mike Aiello. Patrick, Brian Beauregard, and Rob Today. I am so fortunate to call these amazingly talented people my colleagues, and I'm so excited that you all get to hear them talk all about how a cohesive theme for Halloween Horror Nights really brings the event to life. So, to get us started, I'm going to go one by one. Go ahead and introduce yourself, give us your title, and talk a little bit about your history with both Universal and Halloween Horror Nights as a whole. So, Mike, take it away.
Me first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Aiello. I'm the Senior Director of Creative Development for Universal Orlando Entertainment. I've been with the company since 1996. Yes, started as a Jaws skipper. Today's 15 years. Very proud of that, very happy about that. And again, I've been with Horror Nights in some capacity since, as a character in 96, and then writing shows starting in 2002, and then the rest is history. But Horror Nights is that warm blanket that we love to work on. So good to see everybody. Thanks for being here.
Started working at Universal Orlando in 1996. Funny story, I was not a huge horror fan, but my first job, and I think a lot of you know that probably by now, my first job was a singing and dancing Bride of Frankenstein. Who knew that trajectory would bring me to Horror Nights? I was asked by TJ Manarino to join the Horror Nights team in the very late 90s, early 2000s to work on haunted houses. And I said, why? And he goes, because things scare you, right? And I go, everything. And he goes, that's what we want. And so I've been a part of Horror Nights now for over 25 years in some capacity, leading the charge on haunted houses, scare zones. I now love horror movies, and I love horror. So Horror Nights was my gateway into this whole industry. So I love Horror Nights. I love working on Horror Nights. And that's my story.
Hey everybody, I'm Nicolette Zinger. I am the producer. Thank you. I actually started in 2008. I walked into an audition room and Laura Sauls was sitting behind the table, and she cast me as a school kid in the schoolhouse, which was our street back in 2008. I spent my next couple of years being a scare actor, and I loved it, but I had to be part of making it happen. So I started working with entertainment production as a coordinator, and then did the roles that followed that: assistant stage manager, eventually assistant production manager, and production manager of Halloween Horror Nights, which led me to being a producer now, and I'm so thrilled to work with the people that I'm so inspired by every day and bring it to life. So.
I'm Melissa Kilpatrick. I'm the field scenic producer for art and design for Halloween Horror Nights. I've been with art and design since the early 2000s. Been there about 17 years, and 16 of those years I've been fortunate enough to work on Halloween. I started as a set dresser on the decor crew, having fun, making crazy, weird stuff for you guys to see. Worked my way up, decorated a tiny little Jack show that we did a few years back. I don't know if you guys remember how awesome that was. It was a real blender, and there were real people in that. And then moved my way up. Once we had our 10th haunted house, I was lucky enough to be brought in to decorate that, and then I've stuck around with the company ever since, and now field scene and producer, working on a little bit, all of it.
Hello everybody, Brian Beauregard. I'm the Executive Creative Director for Global Merchandise. I've been working with Universal and Halloween Horror Nights since 2002 with the birth of Caretaker. Many of you know that. It's been a heck of a journey over these last 23 years, and got an amazing team, and we're kind of like the end goal of actually bringing that experience to life and that souvenir, that momentum that you take home. So it's working with some amazing creative folks to be able to bring the merchandise to life, to be able to give you guys that great history and that souvenir and that collectible every single year. So try to raise that bar and keep that momentum going. So thank you all for being here today.
I'm Rob Committee. I'm the Senior Director for Visual Merchandising and Store Design. And you were telling a funny story. I think I should tell a funny story too. I actually came to Universal and interviewed on my honeymoon. And I'm a huge classic horror fan, so classic Universal monsters. And that's what brought me to the company. And so my wife was okay letting me go do the interview, on the honeymoon. But like I said, I've been here 24, going on 25 years. It's something new all the time. And we're always trying to innovate, do new things. And this year, 10 years of Tribute Store. So we're going to take and it's been a blast. And we're so excited to work with a team like this and extend the retail experience into the overall experience of Horror Nights.
So Rob's got the first spoiler. He got the first spoiler out. There it is.
I should probably do a little bit of my background too, right? Totally forgot to do that. My name is Ramon Paradoa. I'm a show director with Creative Development, currently working on Halloween Horror Nights and all the other fun things that we get to work on. I got my start in 2017, so not quite as extensive of a resume as my awesome colleagues here, but I started off as a scare actor, and I was a scare actor for 2 years working Halloween Horror Nights. Prior to that, since 2008, I've been the Halloween Horror Nights super fan. So I was coming to the event every single year. I was buying my frequent fear pass. I was obsessed with the event, and I knew it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I started out as a scare actor, and then from there, I had the opportunity to start with the creative development team as a performance coordinator, and it's been quite the journey since then. I'm very, very grateful.
And he's a hell of a writer.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
Oh no.
Here we go. Talk to us about the importance of a cohesive overall theme for Halloween Horror Nights.
Sure, yeah. First, quick poll. Who's been to Horror Nights? Who's never been to Horror Nights? It's okay. It's okay. There's a baby. Is that a real baby?
Is the baby coming this year?
It would not be the first time we've had a baby at the event. That's awesome, because here's the thing. The great thing about Horror Nights, and everyone that's been before, which is most of this room, the thing that we all pride ourselves on is that we're transforming the event every single year. That is something that we have held to in almost every single year. A couple years we had maybe a house or two that were the same. American Wolf in London was one of them. But that is something we take pride on. So there is a philosophy that we all take on about that if we're going to change the event every single year, we need to make sure that the book cover of that event or the movie poster for that event is also incredibly different, so that you as the fans, and also we as creators, can get excited about the world that we want our content to live within. And over the years, there have been all kinds of different variations on what anyone would consider the overall theme. And I know as fans, because I read everything, they also have opinions on overall thematics and all of those, everything that goes into that. So over the years, there have been all kinds of different categories that we've taken on. Some years have been icon-based, where there's an icon character, Jack, leading the charge, therefore an environment exists that the event lives within. His circus, his carnival of carnage. Otho, another great example. Where, again, the event itself is able to take on those textures led by Otho, or that character. Then there have been years where the IPs themselves, or some of the collection of IPs, because those are the ones that are marketed nationwide, also on both coasts, that there's a texture there that we know we could lean into. The 80s was a texture we did, I think, in 2019. Yes. It all goes together at some point, gang. You guys know more about each year than I do. It's all, this is a mess up here, gang. I'm just telling you that right now. So the 80s, we knew we had Stranger Things that year. So the idea of being able to house the event in those 80s textures, neon, even the soundtracks, all of that kind of lived there. So it's important for us to kind of, when we're starting, define what kind of thematic do we want for this year. So, for 2025, what we've decided to do is take a kind of a step back in what is horror? What are the beginnings of horror? What are the textures that come to mind when you think about the initial horror feel? And Gothic textures come to mind. Stained glass, vines, gargoyles. So this was an exercise that Laura and I took on and initially just trying to examine how we wanted to kind of attack this year. And when those textures started to combine, and we'll get into this a little bit as we go down the line, we bring on our partners to kind of talk about these textures a little bit. And a place that we have identified as the house or the environment our event lives in this year is a place called the Conservatory. I'll stop there. Then we got a lot of panelists, people. This is only an hour, okay?
Awesome, thank you, Mike. Laura, when thinking about an overall thematic, talk to us about how this year we are working to infuse that overall theme into different aspects of the event throughout the park as a whole.
Yeah, so when Mike and I were talking, and the whole team were talking about this overall thematic, and we've been talking about it for a year, right? Looking at these Gothic textures, we really, this year, more than ever, really wanted to fully immerse you as our guests in this overall thematic. So as soon as you cross through those turnstiles, you are going to be hit with those Gothic tones and textures. You are going to make your way towards the Music Plaza stage, and that tone and texture, and maybe the characters that surround you, the scenic elements, everything is going to carry that theme all the way through your journey. If you chose to take that right down Hollywood Boulevard, that theme is still there in a different way, but still taking on those tones, textures, environments, stained glass, still within that conservatory wall. And as we break through and go towards other areas of the park, you are going to feel those same textural tones in our lighting elements all around the park, in our overall music score that is all around the park. This year, our word of the year is immersive. We are immersing you in Horror Nights everywhere you go.
It's very, very immersive. Thank you, Laura. Melissa, from a scenic and decor standpoint, talk to us about how your teams creatively help us execute an overall theme from a visual standpoint with scenic and decor throughout the entire event and with houses and scare zones as well. And if you have any examples of from the past, that'd be great too.
Well, sure. We touched a little earlier about a character maybe you guys liked a little bit, Dr. Oddfellow. We did such a great job with that. It starts with show direction and our scenic designers getting together, and they giggle a lot and come up with these crazy ideas, and they come out of that room, and then Nicolette's like, oh, okay, I'll give you a check for that. And then we work with these wonderful vendors, and they build these huge, realistic, amazing sets, but it's really just a set until our decor teams come in. They do what I call the 3 things every set dresser should do. Number 1, you give your directors what they think they want. You give them what they actually want, and then you give them what they don't know they want. And the not knowing what they want part is what is the showstopper that takes it over the top. With Oddfellow, every street zone, our house, every single little nook and cranny was so thought of and purposeful that it seemed natural, but it was so intentful. And that's that last layer that really brings that magic. And we're so lucky to have such wonderful, talented teams that do this work with us.
I remember when the decor team was in the Oddfellow house and they came out the first time we walked through when they were in there, they came out and they were like, we love this house. And we were like, we can tell, this is incredible. You gave us stuff, like Melissa said, that we didn't even ask for. So it's incredible.
To that point, I'd love to quickly take a moment to give a huge shout out to our decor team because they truly are one of the does not fully come to life until decor gets in there. So huge shout out to that team because they are incredible.
Well, one thing I was just going to say, it kind of tying into Melissa about the layered nature of the creative process in all aspects of what we do. It also keys into the overall thematics as well. Those stories that we want to tell each year, they have to serve a lot of people. Because again, everyone in this room I would consider probably the hardcore fans of Halloween Horror Nights. And that is the audience that we are thinking about constantly. You have no idea how often we bring you up in the best ways as we're doing these creative brainstorms. It really is about dissecting what we did. That's the true other great thing about it, is we get to do it again every year and try and figure out what did we do great, what didn't we do so great, how can we improve those things. You all are thought about so much in this process. At the same time, we have to be able to design content that is for the person that's coming to the event, maybe for the first time, that wants to grab a beer and go into a haunted house. That's all they want to do. They just want to get scared and leave. We have to think about that audience as well. So as we're developing these stories and these textures, it has to serve all of those masters. You know, we're able to, I'm going to use some marketing terms, the waders, those are the people that only go this deep in the water, right? And us in here, we're underneath holding our breath for 2 minutes. You know, or maybe trying to get to 3 minutes if we can. You know, so we're constantly thinking about that barometer as we're creating all of this content.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicolette, on the entertainment production side of things, talk to us about how you and your teams help us take these ideas from concept to reality to make them logistically achievable.
Yeah, we think of ourselves in entertainment production as the how group. Right? We like to leave the really cool ideas and ideation and creativity to these folks so that we have the time to figure out how to make that happen. And we have to think about it from a lot of perspectives. A lot of times we're trying new things. Like Mike said, you know, we're always trying to push the envelope and do something new. So a lot of times it says, let's go out and learn about some industry things that are happening out there. What's the latest technology? It's on us to kind of learn and share those learnings with these folks. Sometimes it's R&D in-house. We may gather all of our great creative minds in our technical entertainment team, our decor team, our scenic team, and say, let's all grab together, let's have a work session, let's figure out how we can make this happen, and who's going to take each avenue to kind of navigate that. Then there comes with the logistics. How long is this going to take? How much is it going to cost? How do we get there? How does it impact our guests? How does it impact our team members that are going to actively go out there and bring this to life? So we have to think about all those pieces, but we like to think of ourselves as like that hub of information. We take the really cool creative idea that we get so jazzed and passionate about, and we're driven by the want of wanting to make that real for all of you out there. So it's really about that and figuring out how we make that happen for you.
Talking about heroes, absolutely the entertainment production team, because like Nicolette said, it would not be possible without that. Laura, talk to us a little bit about, when we have an overall theme that's pretty fleshed out, how we share that vision with different departments and our partners in different areas of Universal Orlando.
Yeah, so once the show direction, scenic team comes together and kind of figures out that story and what scenically we're going to put out there, we definitely go to production. This is one of the coolest things that I think Dan Shaw said to me once that I will never forget. Production's like a snowplow. If you want it, we're going to plow that snow out of your way to get there. And for me, growing up in Ohio, I definitely know what a snowplow is. Rob Cometti also grew up very close to where I grew up, and we found this out after we started working at Universal. Production will kind of get us in the room with our technical designers, our audio designers, our effects designers, our lighting designers, our character designers. All of these designers come together to look at this narrative story that our show direction team has come up with, to look at these scenic elements that our amazing scenic team has developed, and how we integrate all of our technical design character design into one cohesive story. So it is definitely a partnership within entertainment. But then we go outside, and outside of our division, this Halloween project just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as we grow. We work hand in hand with Brian Beauregard's team. As soon as we have character designs approved by senior leadership of entertainment, those are getting shipped off to our merchandise team, who creates amazing content for all of our merchandise. As soon as we have any of our content figured out in our Scare Zone programs and what overall content is, we send that to Rob Cometti so his visual merchandise team understands what it's going to take for the tribute store, for all the other areas that they have to affect throughout the park. It's just, once that happens, then we get with our marketing teams, our PR teams, our social teams, our podcast teams, like every division, our food and beverage teams, our operating teams, not entertainment operations, but our attractions operations teams. This event just grows and grows and grows as we go. And these partners that we have, not only on stage, but some of our partners are out here today. Other partners are back in our food and beverage location testing out the new food for this year. We have our entertainment operations partners constantly going through our haunted houses to help us figure out how to move people through them, but also maintaining that scare quality and the scariness that we develop. So it's just an amazing collaboration of so many, eventually hundreds and thousands of individuals to put on this event for you all.
I, for one, love my HHN merch. I'm sure all of you do too, right? Talk to us about you and your team's process in infusing overall thematic, overall themes and textures into the design approach for merchandise for Halloween.
Absolutely. So, just echoing what Laura said, is we start really early. And merchandise, almost earlier than everybody, because we have some crucial deadlines based on production. So we have to start early. I look back at some of the original concepts that we had, and some inspiration was last September. And that's probably some of the earliest we've actually started. So there's a core of us, a nucleus of creativity. When we start brewing, we start throwing stuff up against the wall to see what sticks. Because there's a lot of different ideas that come out of it, but how do we narrow it down? So that's like the big question is, what are we going after this year? How are we telling the story, and how are we bringing it to life? Merchandise is just one extension of that. So we start extremely early. We partner with all our IP partners as well. So there's a lot of different dynamics that go into the process that we have to kind of bake into the design, the whole design calendar. So that's kind of the challenge. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're in sync with all the other departments as well, to make sure we keep bringing up that word, cohesive, all aligned. That's so important to be able to bring the merchandise to life. We're always pushing the team. My team is out here in the audience someplace, but it's kudos to them because they're really thinking outside of the box, and we let them run and get a couple ideas, all kinds of unique content, and see what really works. So then we hone in on that, and then we work with Mike, we work with Laura, we work with Rob to make sure that everything is buttoned up and that texture is just seamless across the board. So it's a great challenge because every single year we have to come up with different looks. We don't like to recycle. So that is the big challenge, is what haven't we done before, and how does it mirror what everybody else is doing for the event? So yeah, it's a pretty lengthy process, but it's an awesome creative process, and that's what we get to where we are today, merchandise-wise.
We all know the tribute stores that you and the visual merchandise, truly incredible work that you all do. Talk to us about your process on the visual merchandise side of things when conceptualizing the theme for a tribute store that ties into the overall thematic theme at Halloween Horror Nights.
Sure, I can go into that. Before I go, I want to talk about that nucleus you just talked about, that creative nucleus. Imagine a bunch of HHN horror fans getting into a meeting every other week and just talking about Halloween and horror stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I spend time picking out the different toys that Mike has added to his office each week, and we are all just huge fans. So it's a great pleasure to work with this team. Like you said, we started August of last year talking about this year's theme. So As far as our process, it's very similar to what everyone has already said on the panel. Ours, like this seating arrangement, ours kind of comes later in the game. So after the creative is done, really it starts to kick in once Brian starts sending me the reference images. And once we get the loose sketches and everything of the merchandise, because almost like, think of it like a movie. And we've all seen those movies that there's either a scene or an actor that really doesn't fit in the movie and it kind of throws everything off. We want to fit into the narrative of what everything's doing. So if you think about a theme park in general, people don't have to shop when they come to a theme park. They want to come for the rides, the attractions and whatnot. They have to eat at some point, but they don't necessarily have to shop. We want to give them a reason to shop. And that's really where Tribute Stores started, is we want to be part of the event. We want to be part of the environment. We want to be a seamless part of that. And we want to give people reason to say, I want to go in the house. I got to try that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Food and Beverage. I have to give credit if there's any F&B people in here. Think about the last 10 years and the evolution of F&B at Halloween Horror Nights. It's been amazing. So credit to them all around. But that's our goal, is we want to be a part of the event. We want to complement the event. As far as the design process is, we start with ideation maybe a year ahead of time. Now, not all of those come to fruition because depending on where the theme goes, we have a lot of loose concepts and we start to narrow it in the closer we get. As soon as Brian starts giving me the sketches, that gives us a clear direction on where we can go. We have evolved that process over time. For those who have been following the Tribute Store, there used to be a time where we would do each room a different themed IP or something like that. And that was a lot of fun to do, but it also got a little difficult, operationally and whatnot. And how do you go from Universal Monsters to a Jack the Clown to a Beetlejuice room? And, it kind of got choppy. So we have evolved that process into a more integrated storyline to where everything that's coming to the event can now live within one space. So we've done Victorian manors, we've done movie theaters, we've done video stores, all of that, to fit everything under one umbrella. So along with this group, retail has evolved along with the event. And like I said, ours comes a little bit later in the game because we kind of have to wait for all of this to settle before we can start cutting wood and putting nails into the wood. But it's an amazing creative process that we have laid out here.
Awesome, thank you.
Before you do another question, my watch is going off like crazy. Every third is a social media something about we're revealing something at the end of this panel, and we're not. I just want to say that right now. We're not.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's been going crazy. Like I can't even listen to it. People are just like, "You're gonna reveal something. Reveal something."
Well, the good thing is nobody was expecting it.
No one's expecting a reveal. Hey, Ramon.
Yes.
You're not just the moderator of this panel.
Yes.
True. Yes, true.
Yes.
You're also a show director.
That's true.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you want to reveal one of your haunted houses?
I kind of want to, but I'm not sure if they want.
I don't think we're. We definitely didn't prepare anything.
No. Strictly decor. But I think you're right. I do think that we officially announced the first original haunted house for Halloween Horror Nights 34 right now. All right. Without further ado, it is my honor to announce the first original house for Halloween Horror Nights 34, the tragic ghost tale of a tortured artist consumed by evil. El Artista, a Spanish haunting.
La casa creación, the place where dreams sueños come to blossom. A haven for the inspired. Un santuario that is scourged by tragedy and haunted by malevolent spirits. A forsaken void that calls out to the torture artista with ill intent. Un lugar, a place that called to me, Sergio Navarro. With each passing day, the whispers grow louder. Sus susurros se hacen más fuerte. I feel them looming over my shoulder as I work, eager for their ghastly forms to be painted onto the canvas. And I can't resist. No puedo resistirlos. Tonight, los muertos, the ghosts, are more restless than ever. And my art, mi arte, will imitate their death.
Our first original house. We are very, very excited to be presenting this haunted house as part of our lineup for Halloween Horror Nights 34. To give you a brief synopsis of the story, set in the late 1800s in Spain, there is a famed artist by the name of Sergio Navarro, and he is kind of, his career is in a little bit of a dip, and he's looking for some creative inspiration. So he relocates himself to this desolate manor in the middle of the woods called La Casa Creación, the Creation House, a place known as a creative hub for the tortured artist, but has quite a bit of legend behind it. Unbeknownst to him, the manor's grounds are infested by the spirits of artists that came before him and also moved to the manor. And there's a deeper sense of evil rooted deep within the manor grounds that exists mostly inside the conservatory. And within this conservatory, this deep sense of evil overtakes Sergio's mind, influencing his art, forcing him to paint these horrifying things that come to life. And the spirits want to use his artwork as portals to break into our world. So one night, when the veil is at its thinnest, Sergio has to overcome his own madness and the ongoing whispers of the ghosts as they proceed to break through his artwork, to use his artwork as portals, to set us forward into a haunting unlike any we've seen before. And that is the story of El Artista, a Spanish haunting. As the show director and writer of the story of this haunted house is the honor of my career, especially as a Latino, for all my Latino folks out there. It is a completely original tale that we're getting to tell. Sergio's story has never been told before. We're so excited to be presenting it. So many incredibly talented people came together, treated this project as a passion project. I want to give a shout out to my scenic design partner, Dylan Kolab, who is a mad genius. Our customer, so many incredibly talented people came together to present this story, and I'm very grateful for their partnership, and I cannot wait for you all to see the fruits of their labor.
Because we talked about overall thematic as well, and I think this is an important detail in the ways we can tell our stories. So again, we told you we all got together and figured out what's the tone and feel of the event. We defined those textures. And then we go to the team and define these textures to the team, and what comes out of that? Something like this. So, and then this actually backs back into some of the textures that you're going to see into the event. Not to say that this is the story of the event, but maybe to say that the event takes place within this story.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea of horrifying paintings and artwork coming to life, that theme carries through too, and how we're executing that overall theme throughout the event. We've announced the house, talked about the story a little bit. Do you guys want to see some behind-the-scenes content of the house? Well, luckily we have this awesome keynote presentation that's going to show you some behind-the-scenes imagery, coincidentally enough. So the very first thing I'd love to talk about is the characters of the haunted house. house, right? So obviously we started with the character of Sergio. We wanted to ground him in some reality. We wanted to make him a really prominent character in the story because it is his story. So when it comes to the character design for that character, because it's set in the late 1800s, because it's set in Spain, we drew inspiration from all those textures to create and conceptualize his look, which is really, really cool. But then we have all the aggressors and the entities that are coming for Sergio, right? So when we knew we wanted to tell a ghost story, we wanted to really run the gambit on the different kinds of creatures and attackers we can see within the environment of a ghost story. You have spectral entities, right? Apparitions of ghosts that belong to the manor, the artists of the past. But then we wanted to play with, well, what if we had some creatures that were poltergeist creatures, right? Creatures that possessed Sergio's artwork and came to life and used his artwork as vessels for themselves to have tangible bodies as opposed to just being spectral entities, right? So the character design, again, huge shout out to Stephanie Mascow, Emily Blumenauer, and our entire character designer team who came together to present some really unique characters that we're featuring in this haunted house. Some of the mask designs, I'm not sure if that's one of the things we're showing you. The mask designs are just incredible, and the costuming to complement it is just absolutely stunning. And I cannot wait for you all to see it as the story unfolds in the haunted house. Also, from a scenic standpoint, this house is just absolutely stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, shout out to Dylan Kolab, our scenic designer. He was a designer of a little haunted house we know and love called Dead Man's Pier. And another one was Blood Moon Dark Offerings. So he's got quite the resume as well. And truly, you feel like you are inside this haunted Spanish manor. When it comes to the textures, we're seeing that Gothic stained glass feel throughout, but you're also, there's some Spanish colonial textures in there too, since it's set in Spain. So it is just beautiful in every kind of way, but don't be fooled, it is just as horrific as it is beautiful. With that in mind, talking about scenic, Melissa, I would love to throw it over to you. Talk to us a little bit about the scenic process for this house, kind of what Dylan went through, and seeing it from concept to reality.
Yeah, well, Dylan, not only is he just a great human and amazing to work with, he loves architecture. Particularly, he was so excited to get to work with Spanish architecture. Gaudi is one of his favorites of all time. So he was really able to take his lifelong love and something he was passionate about and infuse it into this house. Judging by the resume that Ramon just gave you, it might be kind of big. I guess we'll see. But really, it came with a story. They came with a story, and then Dylan just did this great job of building this. And I don't want to give too much away, but just building this amazing space for this tale to unfurl.
There is attention to detail in every bit of the scenic design in this haunted house. There's things hidden in the textures of the walls. Truly, we've gone above and beyond to help tell that story, and we're so excited for you all to see it.
There's no nook, no cranny, no place in this house that wasn't thought about, and you guys are going to hopefully love it as much or more than we do.
Laura, I'd love your thoughts on the scenic design and the execution of the house from a physical standpoint.
One of the things that I'm so excited about within El Artista Spanish Haunting is the graphics that you will see if you pay close attention as you are walking through this house. The story of artists who were striving to find their passion again as artists come to this house, this Spanish manor, and they are being possessed, and their works of art are being possessed by these haunting and these other artists that came before them. What I love about some of the works of art that you're going to see as you go through this Spanish manor is that their works of art are going to come to life throughout all of the event. So if you pay close attention, if you go on the Unmasking the Horror tour, that Lights On tour, you might see some of the artwork that our graphic designers so brilliantly put together that kind of show some of the other things within our event.
Absolutely. I'd love to take a moment to talk about some of the effects that we're going to see in this house, because Dylan and I, when we were in the creative room thinking about this haunted house, the two of us are huge HHN fans, like I mentioned, right? We've been both going to the event for so long. So we wanted to draw inspiration from a lot of these kinds of ghost stories from the past, your Dead Ends, your Gothics, those kinds of textures. We wanted to take inspiration from some of those houses, but then also push the boundaries on how we achieve ghost effects in the haunted house. Some ways that we are achieving that. We all know and love the Pepper's ghost effect. There's a lot of Pepper's ghosts in this haunted house. We've got that going on. You're going to physically see ghosts trying to burst through paintings, pushing through the canvas of paintings, and you may or may not see ghosts walking through walls. Can't confirm, but maybe. So that's just some of the examples on how we're really trying to push those boundaries from an FX standpoint to make you feel like you are walking alongside Sergio as this haunting is going from bad to worse. So you are walking with him step by step and seeing all the things that he's seeing as his haunting kind of comes to a head and grows out of control. We also have some awesome behind-the-scenes imagery from inside the haunted house that we'd love to show.
They may have already shown that.
They might have already shown it.
Oh, what you guys think? So that's why they were so excited. There's and again, that's just scratching the surface. The house is absolutely beautiful, and once you see it all in full scale, we hope that you're going to love it.
And again, it goes back to what are the different ways we can tell our overall thematic. And again, there are many different Easter eggs, many different visuals in this house, because we were really inspired by the idea of this one place informing some of the content within the event, and vice versa. Again, how do we infuse the content back into this house? It's a really great method of being able to deliver items that we know the fans are going to want to dive into, but at the same time, deliver a house that is a true haunted house, and that all the other content of the event can kind of live within and surround themselves in. So we're able to achieve all levels of an integration of how any guests want to immerse themselves into this event.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we open up the floor for a Q&A?
Should we?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go for it.
How do we want to do this? Are we putting this? Is it going to be like? Is it a race to the mic? Is it a? Oh, they can walk up to the mic. Okay.
Great.
All right, Charles, move out of the way. Charles Gray, everybody. Anybody have any questions? This is funny. Yeah, there's like, hello. There we go. We'll try and take as many as we can. I know we're done at 6, so we'll try and do as many as we can. So keep the questions easy.
So I really love like theme entertainment as a whole. Like Horror Nights is like an extension of that kind of. And would you feel like starting as sort of a ride designer could lead to sort of seen as Horror Nights sort of thing? Because I know like you guys kind of have like an unconventional start as like an actor, and that became creative. But do you think like in modern times, like starting as a ride designer could lead to house position sort of thing?
I totally think so. One of our scenic designers who has worked on haunted houses before, he works on a lot of parades, was a car designer.
Really?
Yeah, in Michigan.
Industrial design?
So definitely. Melissa, do you think? I think any creative who is passionate about what they do can transition to any branch of creativity they put their mind to.
Yeah.
So take the skills that you can learn from where you're at and apply those skills to where you want to be.
Yeah,
Great question.
Universal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering about when you're designing a year for Halloween Horror Nights, the mix of IP that's already out there as opposed to original houses. Is there always a number that you guys have in mind of a mix, or does it change with the ideas that you have that year?
Yeah, it's never set in stone, but because it really depends on what's available to us in that year. Also, for starting from an IP standpoint, we try and split it down the middle. It's a 5v5 scenario. That way we're balanced in the event because we know our fans love the IPs that we bring to the table, but they also equally love, maybe even more, the original ideas that we're able to present every year. So we want that balance to occur. Have there been years of a 6 and 4? Sure. It becomes an exercise of the business and how we want to divide our IP versus our originals. But it's not set in stone. But if you give us the opinion, we want to keep it split. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hi. Like you, I've been going to the event for decades. And not only myself, but the fathers in the neighborhood have sort of a group that goes, we go like 2 or 3 times a week, see a couple of houses, grab a couple of beers and walk. And I'm having a hard time as of last year keeping that group together because the frequent fear passes didn't have the express option. So is that going to happen this year? Are they going to come back with the express option? Are frequent fear passes going to be available? I'm trying to...
We are the wrong panelists for that.
We're just creatives that know nothing, sorry.
But I can do this. Let me take your question, and I can take it to whomever. But before you leave, give me your phone number, and I will text you. We open, I promise. I want to keep your group together because I went to the event. My first engagement with Horror Nights was going with my dad. I was an employee. My dad and I went every single year, so that's awesome.
So for a question about past Horror Nights, do you guys ever foresee yourselves releasing the old Q videos that were filmed specifically for houses?
I say easy questions. We would love to. Here's the thing. There are so many legal things that go on with media. You know, what we did back in Hellgate, Q-Line video, none of that went through legal parameters. We shot it, we put it up, and that was it. And there are a lot of different hoops. Is it always a possibility? Yes. Frankly, there's a lot of work involved with every frame of media nowadays, and getting every frame cleared. All the graphics have clearances, all the fonts have clearances, all the people in them, you've got to go back and find them and have them sign releases for public release. So there's so many tunnels to kind of crawl through with something like that. But honestly, we would all of us up here would love to have everything we create out there forever for everyone to enjoy. The reality is there's just a lot of business that gets not in the way, but a lot of hurdles that we have to kind of jump over. You know?
But like last year, we do get some opportunities, like with Slaughter Cinema. Right? Shout out to Charles Gray. We got to write and direct all these awesome short stories to present to you all in the queue. So every now and then we do get those cool opportunities to create some curated content, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, and we love to do that. It's not really, can we show it after the event's over? That's the hard part.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the question.
So as most of the people here, I've been going to Horror Nights for a really long time. I've noticed that there's only been a couple that have been in Islands of Adventure.
I've had this question before. I feel like I'm hogging this Q&A. Islands. Event happened there 4 years? 4 years? 4 years. 4 years, thank you. You know all the years, thank you. It was great at Islands. I will stand on this soapbox and say the event lives in the studios. It does. It started there, it should stay there. Here's the other thing about Islands. Islands is so unbelievably themed, it is very difficult to break out of that into something unique. The great thing about the studios, and you all do it every year when you go through our scare zones, we're able to create something that you forget the surroundings of the studios. That is incredibly difficult at Islands. Islands is it's a thinner park, the pathways are thinner, you're kind of, like Jurassic Park is going to be something jungle themed. You can't break away from that. You know, it's very difficult. So, for me, this event's heart and soul lives in Universal Studios Florida. I'm not going to answer the next question.
So in 2007, 2008, 2009, my idea of gaming was the interactive Fortnite websites. is there any chance that we would ever see a return of that? Because I miss it. I'm sure a lot of people miss it. I don't even know about it, but like being in the Universal Palace Theater, finding Mary's stuff, like Jack's Carnival, like I miss it. I hope other people miss it. Tap this by faster for the event. So.
Yeah, I'll answer this one. 100%. We love it too because it's just another way we can tell our stories. Things change. Things change. There are new methods, and I will tell you, we are in meetings, and we're not driving these meetings because we have a lot on our plates. And also, the amount of work that goes into this event has exponentially grown. Where the same team that was designing the event was also designing that website. And everything that goes into it. That was the art and design team doing that. And it's gotten incredibly difficult to do. Everything. But I will say, we are in meetings because we all have these phones and they do a lot of different things. Every year we're in meetings with these groups studying and understanding what's out there that we can take advantage of that allow our stories to get told in different ways. And that's an ongoing conversation year over year to try and find the right method, both technologically and intuitively, that allows the guests to be able to take in that story. But we love them. We love them. We help create them. We love them.
Hey, what's up? Hey,
there you go. So I'm not answering this question.
Ironically, my three favorite things on this earth are Halloween Horror Nights, beer, and music. And this kind of brings those three together. So with it being this really cool Hispanic drive, one, are we going to get like a cool like corn-based beer? Are we going to get like... And three, the most important thing, are we going to really feature a true Latin legend like a Celia Cruz, a Julio Iglesias, or a Pitbull?
So my first instinct is I don't know how Mr. 305 works in the 1800s. I love Celia Cruz. I grew up on her too, but I'm like, this kind of feels like Sergio's story to tell. But to that point, there is Latin influence in everything you see in this haunted house. I'm very, very proud to say that the entirety of the cast is Latinx. To Nancy Kelly, our entire casting team, for carrying that vision through. Very, very proud of that. As far as the beer goes, I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, one question and one thing I want to say real quick. The question is, if we ever get a Horror Nights movie, or like a movie or TV show, what would you guys want it to be about?
Oh, can I have this one? I want Jack's World. I have kind of put this in the universe several times. One being to maybe a partner in our family that has a streaming network. I was like, Jack is so layered and he has so many other entities with him, with Eddie and Chance and now Oddfellow. We can go anywhere with this. We can tell his origin story. We can tell Oddfellow's origin story. We can figure out, tell Chance's origin story. Yes, I would love that, 100%. If and when that will happen, TBD, but we are on board for that to happen, my friend.
I'm sure a lot of people have said this, but I have some friends in this crowd. I just want to say thank you for making Horror Nights happen. This is how
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I've been going to Horror Nights since 2002. And so, there's a lot of original houses that I like. One of them specifically is Graveyard Games. Have y'all ever thought about So I was asking, have y'all ever thought about doing like a sequel to that house or any of the original other houses that y'all did in the past?
We think about that every day, but right below you is Charles Craig, who wrote Graveyard. No, we think about that all the time. We constantly look to our past and all the original content stories we've done to kind of infuse them into new stories and new ideas. We are constantly thinking about that. Some of the moments where you get that are in anniversary years, right? We usually, for those of you who've been around for decades, you've seen this, that in the anniversary years, we bring back some of our most popular OCs. So just think about that. But, because, you know, next year's 35.
I can say that I too am a huge fan of Graveyard Games. Again, shout out to Charles Gray. There is absolutely some Graveyard Games influence in El Artista Spanish Haunted. And there's some familiar effects that you might remember from that haunted house, so keep an eye.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. You guys are absolute titans in your field, and it's honestly inspiring just to be talking to you. I'm a seasoned scare actor. I'm sure I'm not the only scare actor here in the room. I would like to know if there has been any feedback from your team members who come back year after year and how they go back into the houses as you're designing them, just so your scare actors can safely scare but also get the best out of their performance.
I'll take this one. Yeah, so if you are a seasoned scare actor, I'm sure you know that we do a really diligent job of trying to hear exactly how our characters are feeling and doing. Like I said, I came from being a character, and every decision I make, I try to think of every layer that I have been and how it impacts them, just like I think of how it impacts our guests and the experience in the park overall. But we take our time to, you know, do mini TSATs, which are team member satisfaction surveys, and look at trends that happen within our team member group as well. And then we like to apply that feedback. We try to start every year with telling you exactly what feedback we've applied, and we try to build in control systems within our design that help tell our story, but also kind of provide that space that you feel safe so that you're giving your best performance. So that's what we're really looking to do. Our ultimate job in production is to take care of our team members and make sure that they feel comfortable to do the best job that they can do and have everything that they need to do so. So if you are a character, please keep telling us.
We have time for like one or two more. How about three? How many people are standing there? Four. All right, four more questions. Here we go.
Hi. I'm new to the Halloween Horror Nights scene. I believe 2025 will only be my fourth year. But one thing that I love about Halloween Horror Nights is what's not your houses, not your scare zones, so your shows. So I'm pretty sure I can speak for a lot of people here. I love Nightmare Fuel. Not spoiling anything, obviously. How does that incorporate into Halloween Horror Nights? What might we see this year?
I cannot confirm or deny that Nightmare Fuel is coming back this year because of a reveal date of when shows are happening. But here's what I can say. The shows, particularly anything that's been in that venue, has always been the palate cleanser for the event. We want to be able to present something that allows someone who maybe doesn't want to get scared all night, that they can sit down and enjoy some level of spectacle in the event, whether it's the show experience, whether it's a lagoon experience, anything that kind of breaks you away from the scare zones and the haunted houses, where we want to try and find ways that we can engage that guest. So the fact that you enjoy that fast of the event is awesome, because we do it specifically for you, because we know there are people that come to this event that do not want to go through a haunted house.
But it's a great break.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. What I can say about Nightmare Fuel, and for the past few years, Jason Horn has been our creative director, show director for that house, or for that show, and has done an amazing job. And we actually, this year, for the very first time, if we bring that show back, we'll have new creative there, if we bring it back. See what I did there? Because I caught myself halfway through that. Q&A's great! Thank you so much.
Hi, I've been a character for for several years too.
Hi, I like your friend.
Oh, thanks. I made Matilda myself.
Yep.
Awesome. Matilda.
But what I was wondering is, it looks like Sergio is possibly the icon for this year. Is there any, and usually in the past years, especially in the past years, icons have sort of influenced the scare zone. So is there any influence of the artist upon the scare zone this year? And what might the thought process be of what little pieces go into each scare zone from each icon?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have time to answer it fully. Here's what I would say. So, the icon word is a heavy word, especially for this room. It's a heavy word because it means a lot of things. Here's what I can say about Sergio Navarro. He is a central character to our story this year. I'm not going to throw out the word icon because that is a word that you all can place on that character if you choose to, or if you choose not to. What I will say is we've identified this character as a way to tell our story this year. His influence is in the event in some capacity. It may not be the way an Oddfellow is in the event, or definitely not the way Jack the Clown is in an event. But again, it is us every year trying to determine what's the best method to tell a specific story. What I can say with this particular story and this particular character is there is a beginning, middle, and end to this story. And it resides within El Artista. How that permeates the rest of the event is a discovery that you can take on yourself and decide for yourself how you feel about Sergio Navarro. Okay?
Hi. Okay, so I've only been going to HHN for like around since 32, yeah, and I've only got like the full year with last year, very awesome group of people back there.
Hi, awesome group of people. Awesome people, what's up?
And before I was an H&M fan, I was a comic book fan, and I kind of used that to relate to like, oh, Carrie is just Gotham, but so much worse. So I'm just wondering, is like, you guys did Carnage earlier. I'm just wondering, is there a possibility for anything comic book related, or it doesn't even have to be like an IP like original?
Are you asking if there's a comic book that we could produce and sell based on this?
No, I mean like adapt into a house.
Oh!
We're always looking for new intellectual properties to adapt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a movie. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything. So yes, we're always looking for new things to put in. And yes, our original stories can be anything. So we have historically thought of a comic book style. We just haven't done it yet. The tribute song.
Yeah, we did a tribute song.
Oh, that's true.
We love comic books, yes.
The reason I bring this up is that me and a friend of mine were just talking about a Batman house.
What?
Batman.
Oh, Batman! I can't talk about that. That's all I got, man. That's it.
Thank you so much.
All right, and our last question.
I just had one question. As a huge Halloween Hornets fan, I'm very excited to see Five Nights at Freddy's be brought to HHN. I don't know if you can confirm or not. Will Five Nights at Freddy's be a haunted house, or how will it be brought to the event this year?
We have officially announced that Five Nights at Freddy's will be part of Halloween Horror Nights on both coasts. We have not officially said how that will be a part of the event.
It will be there.
But it will be in the event, and what I can tell you, it's going to be cool, it's going to be fun, and what I can tell you is it is going to look identical to how that franchise looks. The characters will look identical to how they appear in the Blumhouse Five Nights at Freddy's film.
Those bright lights that came on, that was PR making sure we were staying in line. With that being said, thank you all for your amazing questions. I'm honored to call you all my partners. Huge shout out to that. Round of applause for our panelists.
I just want to say thank you all for being here. We, like I said, we think about you all literally every single day. And how we can be better creatives, be better at our event, and give you something that you can truly love. That is our goal every year. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.